Hello, my name is Michael Garrett, and this is a special Popping Culture review. My guests today are David Bakker, Tlinks, and Don Garrett. Very funny comedians. If they're in your city, please go see them. They are hilarious. We will be reviewing the first three episodes of Popping Culture. I have discussed with each one of these guests that this will be an honest review. I also expressed that my guests will be very honest about these reviews. All three of these people are very thick-skinned. All of them are they knew what the episode was like, and yes, yes, this is going to be very hilarious, and I promise you guys will enjoy this review. Uh, First guest I ever had was Donovan Sherrod, very good friend of mine. I love Donovan, a truly good friend of mine. Uh, Donovan, I was like, hey, Donovan, I'm about to start this podcast, Popping Culture. Would you come on? He was so nice. He was just like, yeah, I'll do it, man. Uh, I can't do voices. I'm sorry. He was like, yeah, I'll do it, man.
Like, sure, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
nah, yeah.
And yes. And this is a true story, by the way. My podcast was actually set up where when it was live, like a in-person podcast, I had it set up where me and Donovan were supposed to sit next to each other. The only reason why my podcast is now at that point set up sitting across from each other was because of Donovan. His wife told him that COVID is serious and that we had to sit apart from each other. We could not sit next to each other.
Oh wow.
So he took a picture, sent it to his wife, and was like, "Do you think this is far enough?" And his wife said it was far enough. And I liked the camera angle so much that I just kept using it for my future guests. But yeah, my podcast was actually set up where I was going to sit at the table right here, and somebody was going to sit beside me. So I definitely appreciate Donovan and his wife for that, because if it wasn't for that, the podcast wouldn't look the same at all.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome, man. I didn't know that.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
she carried around her homemade COVID spray. It's hilarious.
Yes.
Oh, my Leah.
She was just
Shout-
spraying COVID away.
Yes, shout out to her for that. But yeah, that's the true story of why that podcast was set up where I was across from somebody I stayed sitting beside. If you watch the episode with my fiance, of course we sat beside each other, but you know, we transferred more than that sounds weird. Sorry.
Yeah, what?
Okay.
I was like, where is this going, Michael?
Yes. Okay. Yes. All right. Um, so I did not have a format, as you guys could tell when you saw these first three episodes or listened to them. First episode. What did you guys think when you heard it?
I thought it was dope, man, because I'm like, it's raw, it's real, and I was like, it's my guy Mike, man. Like two of my dudes, sitting there like talking, chatting about comedy and life and everything else. It was dope, man. So I wasn't looking for like a Rogan, 1,000 episodes or anything like that. Like it was the authenticity, bro. So it was perfect.
Shut your lying ass up. What
I ain't lying. I ain't lying.
For me, it was funny because I mean, obviously, I know both of you. I've known Donovan a little bit longer just because we were on the same improv team. So that was what was hilarious for me because Donovan's very sarcastic
yeah.
And so he has a type of humor to where it's subtle. And so when you guys were talking, like you could tell that Mike was trying to feeling through what he wanted to ask and and Donovan was kind of feeling through what was the most appropriate thing to say. And you could tell that both of you guys were on eggshells. More so Michael seemed like he was more on eggshells than anybody, but it was still, there was some parts in that was really funny that had me cracking up out loud. But more so at the beginning of it. So, but yeah, I thought it was a good entry, a good start off point. Gave you, some legs to kind of go on to the next one. Like, oh yeah, I can't do this shit no more. I gotta it's a little bit different.
Yeah, I loved it, man. I agree with Don. The authenticity of it being your first episode, like Michael, you could tell you care a lot about it because of like you're doing a good job. You're asking the questions and everything. And my favorite part, like when you have your questioning, like before going to the next one, you say, okay. And you pause. and, then, and, then, and then I feel like I could process everything in your brain. Like, am I going to get in trouble for that? Or where am I going to take this? And then, oh gosh. And
That's like his
Donovan, dude,
period.
it was a good choice for your first guest. I mean, Donovan.
Yeah. If you're gonna kick off a podcast, man, Donovan Stroud is the guy to interview.
Dude, yeah. I had a note about like if he is obsessed with knives? Because at one point he said they don't have guns in the UK. So if you see news about a stabbing, that's a good promotion for a slasher horror film. And you didn't laugh. And I was like, oh my God. And then he did an interview with me later, and he said, I asked, how would you want to die if you could pick? And he said he'd want to ride off into the sunset. He'd want his wife with her, and he'd want her to die at the same time. And he'd be stabbing her.
What?
Yeah, he said that.
So I was like, Donovan Stroud likes knives. That was my takeaway. But like, it was awesome, dude.
Mr.
Well, that's
Stabby
good,
Stab.
Yes. In these first 3 episodes, and like I said, we're focused on episode 1 right now. I didn't have that format. I did not know that I needed a format, so it was no topic and movie before this point. It was just let me see how this podcast work. I finally got a name. Like I said, my fiance told me, I think I told you guys this. She was like, you know a lot of worthless information. You might as well talk about it. And I was like, I love you. And then this how that happened. My question was, it was just such a dumb fucking question. It's so fucking dumb. I asked my first 3 guests, guys, for people that are watching, that this is something I really used to ask people. I asked, when it comes to pop culture, when you think of pop culture, what comes to mind? The reason why this is a dumb question, which somebody finally brought to my attention, pop culture is short for popular culture. So there's nothing that really comes to mind. It's just a words.
Yeah.
Right? So when I asked Donovan, when you think of pop culture, what comes to mind? He gives me like the best answer ever, just like, like. So in my mind, I'm just like, whoa, where do I go?
Okay.
I'm 35 seconds in this podcast, and I did not think I don't know would be the first answer. So I'm like, my mind is just shuffling because I'm like, I have no comeback. But luckily, Donovan helped me out. He was like, I'm a white guy. What do I know about culture? And I was like, thank God, Donovan.
That's a good save, Donovan. Good save.
Yeah.
I asked so many dumb questions in the beginning. These questions were amazingly dumb. Did you guys have any favorite dumb question that I asked? Dumb. Yeah. Okay, David. How many notes you got, buddy? This is
I didn't write down any dumb questions.
Oh, okay.
I have Donovan hates LeBron. He said he's a bitch.
I think a lot of times it's just they're not questions that you want to ask. They're not dumb questions, but they're just kind of like, just probably what I could have done better with that or whatnot. And that's probably the cheesiest way to answer that question. But for that episode, like you said, Donovan is a perfect person to interview because his sarcasm and his ability to just kind of talk about things he wants to talk. Because Donovan is relentless for putting jokes inside of a conversation.
Yes.
Yeah.
The majority of that first episode was him testing material that he probably thought about. Hey, maybe this is funny. Let me say this. Well, here's an opening. Let me take this opportunity. And so that's what I kind of saw, him juxtaposing thoughts in his mind on how to say something that was really funny. He wanted to make sure that people knew that he was funny. And you were trying to figure out, well, what's the best thing to ask, and what do I think? Where do I go from here? Kind of thing. But I haven't watched every episode, but the episodes that I've watched since, you can definitely tell the difference in how you ask questions, your inflections on how you ask questions, and you looking for an answer and already kind of knowing how to pivot to something else, once you get what you need. And keeping it in time, to make sure that people are, well, with the exception of a couple of guests, making sure that the time count is perfect. The first one, it was just kind of all over the place. You were just kind of feeling things out. So,
what were you saying now, David? He does hate LeBron, yes.
Oh, these are just my notes on the episode. But the only time questions to me are not good is when it's like it's not. It seems like filler. And I didn't even notice any through any of these. But I just whenever I'm asking a question and it feels like I didn't really care about the answer, I just asked it because it was the next one because I didn't know what else to say. That's usually when the interview's not flowing great anyway. So I don't know, but yeah, Donovan hates LeBron. I had that, and Shaquille O'Neal shoes. Somebody had those growing up, and I loved that. I would always
Yeah,
have garage
yeah,
sale Shaquille, like I don't know, Shaquille O'Neal, whatever.
yeah. My mom truly believed in Shaquille O'Neal shoes. She was like $20. We just buy them every 3 months. So
Some
Yeah,
Shaqs.
and I
Lord
think you
Jesus.
talked about the Kazam movie with Shaq
yes,
in it, and I wanted a pop and culture movie review of Kazam. I don't know if
No,
anybody did one, but
yeah,
Shaq was
man, yeah. I'll watch it with you.
yeah,
Yeah. Oh, T-Links, what you laughing at, buddy?
Shazam, period.
Yes, yes.
uh, man, I wouldn't say that there was like a favorite, like question per se, man. I think I just like both of you guys' dynamics, like knowing you guys like individually and how you are and stuff like that. Donovan, as you guys say, he's such a cool man. He's a subtle spirit, man, but he's sarcastic as hell. So like you wouldn't even know, and he just tells you stuff, and he never changes his face. Like he even laughs with a straight face. He's like, ha ha. Like, what I'm saying? And then just and then just knowing Mike, man, Michael Garrett reminds me a lot of Michael Scott from The Office. So it's like, like you guys are kind of like the same, man. It's just I feel like you guys both find yourself in like crazy situations all the time, and it's just like you gotta figure it, like you gotta figure the way out. But you're funny without even trying to be funny, bro. So seeing like,
Thank you, brother.
no, it's hilarious, my guy. So seeing like both of y'all dynamics just there, what I'm saying? Like, dog, that's hilarious. I need a like Donovan Michael movie because I will watch the whole thing.
I truly appreciate it, man.
yeah.
Um,
That's a good
so
point, Don, about the personalities kind of meshing and stuff.
Yeah,
Because I
exactly,
feel like
yo.
as comics, as you get better, hopefully you get to know more who you are, and more of you comes out, and then putting that with another comic who's also in that same process,
Yeah,
and it's real honest, genuine back and forth. So you come to identify with them as their true selves. So I don't know. I get
exactly.
philosophical with comedy all the time, but
yes,
I
thank
felt
It's
you.
like that
deeper.
came
It's deeper
through with
than
Donovan and Michael knowing each other and both. Yeah.
yeah.
Yes,
Comedy's deeper than jokes, man. It's a whole psychology to it.
yeah,
And just like you look for chemistry in your set. You also have chemistry with your friends. It's just that it's so happening that you and Donovan, you guys are so much alike yet so different. With personalities, man, it works. It works well.
nice. Thank you guys so much. Looking at these first 3 episodes, especially looking at this episode, uh, around episode 12 or 13, one of the amazing fans, shout out to her. I won't say her last name, but Rebecca, I still haven't forgot you. She sent me a DM. My fiance, she just sent me one DM. I never replied. Um, okay,
Yeah,
okay, okay. She sent one DM, and very sweet lady. She said, "I really, me and my friends like your show. We turn your show into a drinking game. Every time you say we take a shot.
yo, they be in that joint lit.
Yes, very much." And I have never forgot that. So if you ever catch even the new episodes, if you ever catch me go, I'm doing it for you, Rebecca.
Dude, don't
Don't
beat
watch,
yourself up, man. I
One
say
minute,
all the
57
time. I
seconds.
noticed that.
but hopefully your fans will turn it into a drinking game too, buddy.
They'll be shit faced after
Okay.
5 minutes.
Ultimate sound of respect.
Yeah, I think I used to say I'm crazy. What's crazy though is crazy, man. I did that on stage like 20,000 times. Like my first couple of the first couple of months performing. I just kept saying it's crazy, man. That's crazy.
I,
What's crazy though, I just kept doing it over and over and over again.
yeah, I do that now. I
It's
do
like
that. I do that now. It's just second. It's like second nature. I try to like catch myself, not doing it because it's not like I don't remember, what I'm about to say. It's just that it's so
mhm,
natural. I say it in my everyday life that it just comes out like that, man. So
mhm.
I feel you, brother.
Yeah, that's my It's crazy, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, crazy,
Crazy, man.
crazy, man. What's crazy though?
Crazy
So
podcast.
So many variations of it, right?
Bro, I will use that in my regular life. Like anytime I'm in a conversation I don't want to be in. Yeah, man, that's wild. That's crazy, bro.
Dude,
All right,
yeah. That's what you say when you're not interested. Wow, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's wow.
Wow.
I am not
That's
listening to you.
Black man.
That's-
That's black man lingo. Is like you've talked enough. You've said
Right.
enough.
Yeah, that's
Black woman lingo.
that person bombed their conversation with you. You're not listening. Yeah.
Yes. I hate to sidetrack, but my best man, that's crazy, was this. I was like 17. I went to this old lady's house. I was trying to give her a wash tower back when I was Jehovah's Witness. And I said something, and she was just like, "Yeah, that's crazy. Just not interested." I was like, "Oh, okay, all right." I'll tell you something. I'll say something about Armageddon. I remember that was part of the presentation, but she's like, "That's crazy. Not interested." I was like, "Oh, okay."
Oh, yeah.
And then we get to, and guys, I need y'all to be brutally honest, because I'm gonna be brutally honest, because I already talked to him a few times about it. Episode 2, worst fucking episode I've ever done. And this is a good friend. I'm not scared to say it because we're good friends. Worst episode. And I'd say this to him all the time. Guys, there's no reason to be nice, guys. He's not a nice person. So you don't have to be nice. I know him in real life, guys. Trust me. Just hear me out. I'm starting the episode. Before we even start the episode, now I told him I was going to say all this, so he's cool with it and everything. And before the episode, remember you got David. You didn't come to my place. I went to your place, but you did come to my place first. The stuff got messed up, so I had to do it again at your place. As you guys know, even when y'all came, I offered alcohol, coffee, water. I think majority of you guys just wanted coffee or soda, but he wanted coffee, alcohol, and soda. So I lined everything up. I'm like, hey, it's episode 2, nigga. Like I didn't know what I was supposed to do. I'm trying to make everybody feel comfortable. I'm like, I want to get more guests. You know what I mean? So we have everything lined up. I literally remember like, okay, my first question, I know how to set this up. I'm gonna set up the alley hoop. He's gonna dunk it. I literally said, Dre's one of my good friends, one of the nicest guys you ever meet. Dre, thank you so much for coming on the show. This motherfucker said, "Yep." So I look right at him, and it's on tape. Like you can find me on YouTube, Facebook, and I look right at him, and at that moment, I was like, "I am fucked." So I'm going to carry this episode. I'm about to carry this episode hard,
dude.
So I am literally just like doing these questions, and he's giving me these one-word answers. And in my mind, I'm like, "Yo, please just give me anything." Before I dig any deeper, what did you guys think about episode 2?
So that was one of the episodes that I had watched before and didn't pay any attention until you just said that about how everything went. And now that you say that, now I'm starting to remember like you were just, that's when you did the okay thing probably 10,000 times. There was a lot of pausing because you were trying to figure out your footing, and he was just like wanting you to ask all the questions, and there was no depth to no conversation, no depth of no conversation for at least the first 3 to 4 minutes. It got better, but you worked. You had to work for everything that you needed to get, and I think that probably helped your format going forward. But when you say that, I wasn't even putting that together until you just said that. He came in. His dryness was what made it difficult. And now I'm thinking back on it. I was like, wow, yeah, that motherfucker didn't say much of anything within the first 4 to 5 minutes. It was definitely drawn out, more questions after questions after question to spark a conversation that would, last longer than 35 seconds.
Yeah, first of all, I thought it was Tim Reed you were interviewing.
Oh shit. David, Google it. Google it, David. Google
Yeah, I'm a blank. I'm like, who's that?
Could just Google it. It'll be way funny if you Google it. I don't want to spoil this for you, but I want you to know. Yeah, what he just said is funny. I know you may not know, but it's great. It's spot on, David. I want you to know what he said is a gem and is perfect, and that's what he will be for as long as I know him. I'm sorry, Don. Go ahead. I apologize.
No. At first, I thought it was Tim Reed, man, and then I was like, man, I was like, bro, I listen to a lot of like Jeffrey Osborne, like LTD, right? And it's just like, it's like if your barber was like cutting hair in the 70s, man, like
that is so fucked up.
T-Lane, you know what I'm talking about, man. Like the dude from Earth, Wind and Fire, we had the pro his lineup. It was just big old squares, man.
Yeah, that 8th of September.
Oh man. Oh man. Do you remember? Let me stop.
When I was on sister.
Oh
yeah,
man.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, David, but if you just knew how funny this was.
No, it's fine.
Okay.
I didn't watch the video. I listened to it on Spotify. Maybe that's not helping.
Okay.
Oh yeah. You got to see it to believe it.
Yeah. Yes. I will just say, Mike, man, if you don't make it into heaven, that won't be why. I think that actually probably gave you a good chance to get to the pearly gates, bro. Like that's extra credit. That's grading on a curve scale. Having to do that, man, especially episode 2, so many people would have panicked. And if you did panic, we couldn't tell all the way, but you handled it like a pro, man, and you made it through. That's what matters. So you were given an daunting task and you survived, brother. So sometimes, as I tell people with comedy all the time, there are thrive rooms and then there are survive rooms. That was the survivor episode and you got cut up, but you made it. So
thank you, brother. What did you think about it, David?
It's not your fault. You ever been on a date and you ask the girl questions and then they're just like, yes, no. Like, motherfucker, like it's a date.
Elaborate.
I want to get to know you. I'm asking you questions so you can talk about yourself. Just do that.
What's your favorite color? No.
Yeah. There's just no. Come on.
Tell me something.
Yeah, and that happens. I mean, I don't think it happens as much with comedian guests because it's just so natural. You can talk about anything, but yeah, I don't know. It's not your fault. I actually remember a specific, like it happens to the best interviewers. I don't know if you've ever seen Colin Cowherd. You guys listen to Sports Talk Radio?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
He had one with Jim Harbaugh where Jim Harbaugh was like a Neanderthal answering and yeah, Cowherd cut the interview short after like 3 minutes and just said, all right, I got nothing, not a lot I can do here. That was Jim Harbaugh, ladies and gentlemen. And it was this big thing. So you needed a two-way street. So I don't know. But I don't know. I thought it was fun. I was trying to figure out who this was. I don't know who that guy is. Does he also work for the Postal Service?
Yes. And that will get to the other part. So he's a mailman just like Donovan. He's also an ex-Jehovah's Witness like myself. So before we did the podcast, he said, hey, man, please don't bring up the Jehovah's Witness thing. And please don't bring up the post office. Like, man, I hate my job. Please don't bring up the post office. So since he wouldn't talk.
I was about to say, he walked in it. Like,
yeah. So since he wouldn't talk to me, and I was like, and at this time it wasn't streaming. So like, if it didn't go well, I could always edit it out later. I was just like, okay, if he's not going to talk, I'm going to bring up the post office. And it got him to talk. And I asked him, do you remember the question I asked about the post office, David?
No, not the question necessarily.
I asked him, did he believe that drones would take his job? and
So
that finally got him to talk.
Yeah. I had hates drones, hates Jeffrey Bezos.
Yeah, Bezos was
Everybody hates Bezos.
and hates modern day haircuts.
I gotta see a picture of this guy.
and definitely hates product. Just he definitely hates product.
He hates
Like-
people named Roger.
Like hey, like Ness would say. Ness would be like, he had that Wu-Tang in his head.
He also hates teenagers named Roger. Like
Yes.
he can't stand them.
Yes, but and as soon as I start bringing up the post office, he stares at me like, man, what the fuck? But then he finally started talking. So it worked, but I was the only way I can get him to talk was to bring up the post office. But yeah, that was. Go ahead, Don.
Sometimes you just gotta bring a mofo job up, bro.
Yes. And if you guys remember the rant, I was just like, because I got nervous because I'm friends with him, but that rant got kind of serious to the point where I was just like, I kind of blinked twice and I was like, hey, man, don't get fired.
Yeah. Not my fault, man. You should have called a barber for him.
God. But that is still like in my opinion, that's the worst episode I have done. Again, I didn't have a format. I was still asking when it comes to pop culture, what comes to mind. And I remember him telling me when it comes to pop culture, I think of art, I think of musicians, I think of this and I think of that. And yeah, that was the most I got out of him until the post office. So
yeah, it was one of those where I just had it playing on my TV, but I was doing a whole bunch of other shit.
I appreciate the view.
I didn't know the guy, so it was like, Donovan, definitely I was listening to see what he would say. So, but I didn't know this guy at all, and I was like, okay then,
Yes.
At the end of the day, don't ever call me old, dude. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because I ain't never look like that. That shit will never happen.
Okay.
I'm just saying, man. I just wonder what kind of Clippers makes that big of a like. Just never mind, man. Never mind.
I mean, if you were cockeyed, maybe it looks straight.
I promise you guys, when I tell y'all after he watches this and goes bald, I'll thank y'all guys and be like,
sometimes
I appreciate
that's the
y'all.
best plan.
Yes.
Somehow I think bald is better than that, Michael.
Yes,
Yeah,
I agree.
If I start struggling, it's going off. I'm like,
Man,
it's not.
what?
Yeah.
Bro,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be looking like. I'm not gonna be looking like Jeffrey Osborne.
No.
If he pulls me to the side,
Oh,
I'm terrified of going bald.
What a difference.
you
Dude.
don't think you could pull it off?
Me going
Yeah.
bald? I don't know. Maybe I'm too insecure to go bald. I've been on a Rogaine regimen and I got a laser hat. Have you seen those on magazines? Stimulate hair growth.
Yeah, they make those.
Oh
Yeah.
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 Oh yeah.
Oh man,
I have a
vitamin E
roller
oil.
though. I have a roller, David. Like it's just a roller, and it just kind of it has like little spikes in it, and it just kind of stimulates.
Does that help? Like retain what you got?
I guess.
I mean,
Yeah.
you got great hair.
I had like cowlicks or whatever. I could see them coming in whenever I have my hair really low, and I started doing it. I mean, I have them now, so I think it works.
I use vitamin E oil. It's been working wonders.
Yeah,
man.
that's
Like,
I was gonna say, vitamin E works as well.
Yeah, I'm on the other side of the coin. I can't wait to go bald. I'm literally just growing out because my fiance says
You
she
want to
wants me
go
try it.
bald?
Yeah, man. It's yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready for it.
You're like you've already like you've had to chat with yourself and all that, Michael. You sure?
Yeah. Man, I'm 29, dude. I just started taking one a day meds and everything, so I'm ready.
Oh man.
Man, I was bald all through high school because I grew up during the era of the Fab Five. So when I played basketball since 8th grade, we cut our heads bald, and that was our thing because we were, that Jordan Fab Five era.
Yeah.
And I didn't grow out here until I graduated from college, really.
Nice.
Until I got in the workforce because, a 6'2" black guys kind of intimidating walking into, a professional setting. So I had to grow out here just to kind of balance that out.
Nice.
Luckily, we didn't have to wear masks back then.
Yeah, for
Huh?
real.
I said, luckily we ain't had to wear masks back then.
No, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we would have been super America's. We would have been higher on America's Most Wanted list.
Yeah.
Yes.
I shaved my head once for Halloween in college. I looked like a chemo patient.
God damn, David.
Can't edit this out.
Nah,
That's
nah,
hilarious,
nah,
bro.
No.
nah.
I was supposed to. It was Walter White. I was going as Breaking Bad. So,
Oh, okay.
so
All
he
right.
was actually.
Oh God, did he fall? Tlinks, you all right? Oh God, boy, I tell you, I was so worried about you, boy, the tour and everything. Boy, I tell you, Don, I was about to hit you. All right, okay, you okay?
He's
my
like,
phone didn't like the joke. It was,
Yeah, I got you, but I was just like, not now. All right, cool. All right, okay. Whew. All right, if we get to episode 3, you okay though?
oh yeah,
Oh,
I'm fine. I'm sitting down. My phone
Okay.
just fell.
All right, okay. We get to episode 3. Episode 3 is Jessica. Jessica is now Dre's fiance. Yeah. That fucked up haircut got her, so good for him.
I did not see that coming.
Yeah.
Okay.
The funny thing about
say love.
is the funny thing about this podcast was Dre was there. For you guys, all 3 of you guys been to my condo. He was sitting on the couch, and she was sitting at the table in the chair in front of her. And I was looking at him the whole time the podcast was happening, and I was like, I looked at it, I was just like, hey, bitch, like, was he beating you? Look, this is some Ike Turner shit. Like, I just kept looking like, if you don't feel
That
safe,
mind
tap my.
control, that Debo.
Yeah, I was scared for her. I was like, oh man, you about to leave? He was like, nah, I'm just gonna sit on the couch, man. I want to watch it. I was like, if you ain't safe, girl, I ain't that kind of friend. Like, let me know if he, don't make no. I looked at you like, don't give no wrong answers. Okay, that's fucked up. I'm sorry. This was a great podcast, in my opinion. I didn't have the format yet, but I still enjoyed this podcast so much, episode 3, because it was a real conversation. It was genuine. It was she was woke, which I didn't bother me at all. It definitely, I thought, it made the conversation more active. She dropped a lot of gems, a lot of stuff I just didn't know personally, that I truly enjoyed learning, because the best thing about podcasting is that you learn so much. When I asked that first question, when she thinks of pop culture, what comes to mind? The answer she gave was so fluent, so smooth, that I just felt way more comfortable. Because after my first 2, I was like, how's this gonna go? But after her first answer, I was like, okay, this is gonna be a good conversation. What did you guys think about episode 3?
Episode 3 was one of the ones that I missed.
Okay.
I liked it a lot. I like that she's a photographer, right? So she was not a comedian. Does she do stand up, or she just
No, just a
okay?
photographer.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So I agree, because her answer about culture was she talked about Black culture and what that means, and I mean, I don't fully understand the perspective of what she was getting at. So when she elaborated on that, and she talked about artists from people that kind of paved the way, she mentioned Tupac, and she also mentioned the power of images, like how one image can say so much, and it's really powerful. I don't think about photography all that much. I think, we're so saturated now with images on Instagram, whatever. I don't necessarily find myself as much taken in by an individual picture, because we got so much to look at. But she mentioned a few pictures that I thought were interesting. The little boy hugging a police officer, saying, "We want justice." And then she elaborated on it actually not being the correct story. Like what the picture was trying to portray was something different. In fact, that boy was an adopted boy whose parents drove their family off a cliff like a week later. So what was going on in the picture was not necessarily the message of what was being taken away by most people. I thought that's an interesting conversation. Like, does that matter? Is the message more important? Or is the underlying truth more important? She seemed kind of conflicted on that. I thought that was a really interesting for her to delve into that. And I was really into that. I didn't finish the whole episode, but yeah, hearing a photographer's perspective and images and how she looks at culture, I mean, It was very fluid and it was very engaging. So I agree. I mean,
That's dope.
definitely a good episode.
That's dope, man. Now I gotta watch the episode now, man. I mean, they say that a picture is worth 1,000 words, but I never really took that into consideration until hearing that. What's more important, the message or the actual truth, man. So that's an interesting take on things. I'm gonna have to watch episode 3 now.
Yeah, she definitely. I like, I like wokeness. I kind of look at myself. I'm not quite woke. I kind of got like sleep apnea when it comes to stuff like that. But, um, but like basically, the answer itself, like pop culture is Black culture, is essentially where she was kind of getting at, and I like the idea that she brought that up. She could have literally did the entire podcast about that. But delving into, like he said, the photography aspect of things, and I've seen that picture 1,000 times on Facebook and never got into the depth of what it actually meant and what that person was actually trying to convey. But society will take it and make it into one thing, and you just go off of that, and then we just keep, when in actuality, the truth is what needed to be told. And so I think she did a good job of delivering that message. But overall, like, she was just a good conversationalist. Like, you can tell that the dialogue was true, and she knew a lot about what she was talking about, and her, she had interesting. You didn't have to ask as many questions, and that is always a good thing. When they kind of take what you're talking about and run off with it, and
So
turns
nice.
she turned it into something totally different, than what you probably even intended on it being. I mean, because at the end of the day, like you said, you weren't really structured at that point to how you wanted things to go, and she was good because she provided a lot of good insight. So yeah, I definitely, when she was talking about Tupac and the influence of African Americans, or just hip hop in general, to pop culture, like, of course that was very interesting, from her perspective. But then to layer it on with the pictures that she mentioned and some of the shit I didn't have no idea about. So I learned some stuff as well.
Yeah,
That's what's up, man.
yeah. She also brought about a
Everybody's
bunch of.
frozen.
Okay, yeah. Is everything better now? Okay.
Yeah,
She also
I can
brought
see
up
it.
about Kyle and a few other West Coast rappers that I knew I checked out, and I'm glad that she was able to put other people on. She explained like the different like places you can grow up and not even know about certain people. She talked about a few other West Coast artists and dropped a lot of gems. Um, she talked about being biracial, and I thought that was very important. I was glad she expressed that on the podcast. Um, and that podcast actually helped me when it came to the idea of doing like movie reviews and a podcast together. Like the one thing she said that really made me like realize I had to choose a topic was when she said, if you guys remember, well done when you check it out, she said about she asked me something about what I think about such and such artists, and that really what made me hit like, oh, why am I making this so broad when I could literally just center in on one topic? And that's really what helped. Because Don, if I'm correct, I believe you're episode 6 or 5 or 6, because you were the first episode with the movie review.
Yeah, I think I was 12.
Okay, all right, I did. Okay, sorry about that.
Yeah, no, it's all good. I think I was no, I think I was 12. Yeah, I believe I was 12.
Yes, you are 12. Yes, sorry about that. Episode 12 was when I did the first movie review. Apologize.
No, it's all good.
But in all these episodes, I eventually brought up some kind of movie. With this episode in particular, it was the second longest episode at the time. Did you guys think that was like something that helped or hurt?
I think it was okay. I didn't pay attention to time, to be honest with you. Like I said, the second episode, I kind of got up. I did some other shit because I was watching it during my work day. So, but on that episode, like, I was listening to what she had to say, but there were times I went back to my couch and I sat down. I looked at what the conversation was about. Because yeah, like, proximity has a big play on, like, the West Coast and the East Coast. Sometimes they don't know what the hell's going on each side. Like, you can be
Right.
totally in two different worlds, and having been in both sides. Like I went to the West Coast. My first time I was 19. The first time I went to the West Coast, and it was a culture shock. And just having conversation with people, you just realize that these motherfuckers don't know what the hell going on over there. It's like a totally different world. And so I can imagine how cultures could be different. And she, like you said, she added the perspective about being biracial, and so you got all those dynamics. I don't think the time was a big thing. Like I never paid attention to it. It was always something that was interesting that kept it going. So I wasn't paying attention to how long it was.
Speaking of T-Link's point as in regards to the differences on per coast, like say if everything that we get down here, say like up top New York, they're like, oh, we got that 6 months ago, whether it's music or fashion or whatnot. And then what's so crazy is you got artists in California and they go platinum over there like it's nothing. Like
Yeah.
2 Chainz, like not 2 Chainz, Too Short.
E40.
Yeah, E40. Too Short
It's
is a
the
16.
royal.
Like, yeah, all of his albums platinum. Like E40 was basically the notorious B.I.G. of the West Coast. So it's like those are things that we didn't understand. Like that here, take it further, like down in Texas, the whole Texas Underground, all those Chameleonaire, Mike Jones, Paul Wall, Slim Thug, Zeros. We knew about UGK, but UGK really didn't get their flowers until like years later when they were on Big Pimpin'.
Yeah, and what's his name died,
Oh, Pimp C, right?
Yeah, when Pimp C died. So yeah. I mean I would put her on again, man. Like to be honest with you, she was a good conversationalist. Put her and Dwayne on at the same time.
Yeah, it's like, oh god, yes, that'd be perfect.
Mr. Nettles.
Yes. Her episode was so well, and I loved it so much that I dropped both of their episodes the same day because I had to make up for episode 2. And that's not me being funny. Like you can look back and see both of their episodes dropped the same day. Just because I was just like, his episode was so bad. I was like, I have to drop both of these at the same day.
Oh shoot.
Yes. So that made up for it.
The dose of reality.
Yes.
That is funny.
Guys, thank you so much. I know this was a very long episode. This is really how the format is going to be. I'm going to try to stretch it to 2 hours since I'm doing making it like a web series. So separate from the podcast part. But guys, I truly, truly appreciate it. The last thing I was going to ask was, do you guys have any thing you want to say about your episodes that you liked about it in general?
I just enjoy being a guest, man. Just thank you for the opportunity to have me on your platform, just to talk to everybody and come chat with you, man, and just kick it. So, I mean, honestly, I'm just thankful to be a guest, man. Thank you.
My favorite part of the episode, Don, is when we talked about the Boom Boom Room. We was like, man, where the Boom Boom Room? They never showed that part.
Right.
They never showed that part, but
they never did.
We reviewed Harlem Nights. David is a part of the movie where they talk about the Boom Boom Room. So.
But they never showed it, and I've been looking for it ever since.
Yes.
Yeah, I had a blast, man, and thank you for having me. It's cool you let the guest pick the movie and you let the guest pick the topic, because it's not often you get a chance to talk about something you love and like something you're really interested in, and people give you just a platform to say stuff. And yeah, we talked about Groundhog Day. I had a lot of fun talking about that movie. I loved Bill Murray, and that was a really fun thing.
Classic movie too.
Yes, I love when we talked about the deaths, because it was some hilarious death scenes in that movie.
Yeah, a lot of suicides. I'm into those jokes apparently.
Well, I enjoyed my interview, but talking about the movie, he didn't like the movie that
Tell him the movie, T-Link, before we continue. Tell him the movie.
Yeah, I didn't hear your movie review, T-Link. I just saw the first part of yours.
What was the name of the movie?
Well, it was Antebellum. That's what it was.
Antebellum was the movie that I chose.
Oh, the Janelle Monáe joint.
Yeah, so he didn't like it. He thought it was terrible. I like the idea. I like where they were trying to get at. So, I'm old. I'm an old school guy, so that kind of stuff intrigued me. And so yeah, he basically like, Don't see that shit.
Yes, it's a
Don't go see
horrible
it.
movie.
No.
The whole time, the whole review, he was like, "What they were trying to say." I was like, "Oh, they were trying." It didn't seem like they
Nah,
tried at all.
I mean, yeah, it was
Wasn't
some,
much of
it's
an
some, it
effort.
was some holes, in the movie, but I mean, I thought for what it was worth, I got the message, and I think part of it was because, like, I think the age difference has a lot to do with it too, because Dwayne liked the movie too,
You
Dwayne,
know who didn't get the message? The box
young
office.
people. Well,
Damn.
yeah,
Damn.
box office.
Damn. Cold blooded.
Listen, yeah, but it was one of those movies that, yeah, you definitely should have never put out of the movies. They should have just go ahead and run that on Stars or something. Like,
Cold black.
yeah, they shouldn't have never do that.
Roku TV. That's what.
Ruko.
Yes.
I don't know what I'm
Uh,
talking about.
well, I truly appreciate you guys, man. Thank you all so much for coming back. Lastly, guys, I do have shirts now. If you want shirts,
Hey.
Dude.
$20 shirts, yes, if you guys want that. This will be available on YouTube, Facebook, and everywhere audio. Guys, please, if it's anything you guys want to say to your fans, please let them know. And also tell people where they can follow you.
Cool. Comedian T Link, Instagram, comediantlink.com. You'll get connected to Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and all that stuff.
David Baker 7. All one word on Instagram. That's probably the best place. My YouTube is linked from there, and my podcast, I Did This Instead of Killing Myself, is linked on there. And that's available on all audio platforms. My YouTube channel is David Baker 16, but Instagram's the best spot to start. And thanks again so much for having us, Michael. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Don Garrett Comedy on Instagram. It has a link tree to all of my other accounts, Twitter, Facebook, as well as tickets to the shows that I produce as well. Yeah, thanks, Mike, man, for everything that you do. Shout out, happy 50th episode of PoppinCulture, and make sure y'all keep supporting, man. Thank you, bro.
All right. Thank you guys so much for watching and listening, and have an amazing day.